definition of manners of articulation. In linguistics, articulatory phonetics manner of articulation describes how the tongue, lips, jaw, and other speech organs are involved in making a sound make contact. The manner of articulation is the way the airstream is affected as it flows from the lungs and out the nose and mouth. The manner of articulation is the configuration and interaction of the articulators when making a speech sound. The type of closure or narrowing at the point of articulation is called manner of articulation. There are 6 kinds of manner of articulations: 1. Plosive, 2. Nasal, 3. Fricative, 4. Affricative, 5. Lateral, 6. Approximate, slice, glide. 1. Plosive. Complete closure of the articulators involved so that the airstream cannot escape through the mouth. There are 3 types of plosive. 1. Bilabial plosive, 2. Alveolar plosive, 3. Velar plosive. Bilabial plosive. The lower lips are pressed together and the soft palate are raised, so the breath cannot escape through either the nose or mouth for a short time. In short, the sound cannot be prolonged. Description of P. Distinctive features. P is consonantal anterior voiceless bilabial stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce P, the air passage is completely blocked by closing the lips and raising the soft palate. When the lips are open, the air suddenly escapes from the mouth with an exclusive sound. There is not any vibration in the chords. When it is followed by a strongly stressed vowel, P is regularly aspirate. Occurrences. P occurs initially, medially, and finally. Spelling forms: P, pen, spoon, stop, happy, opportunity. Descriptions of B. Distinctive features. B is consonantal anterior voice bilabial stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce B, we do it like when we pronounce P, except that in B there is a vibration in the vocal cords. Occurrences. B occurs initially, medially, and finally. Spelling forms: B, big, banana, rubber, labor, rib, app, bulb. Notice: B is silent in lime, thumb, comb, and index subtle dub. Alveolar plosive, T and D. The tongue tip is firmly against the middle of alveolar ridge. The soft palate is raised, so the breath cannot escape through either the nose or mouth, but it is trapped for a short time. The sounds cannot be prolonged. Descriptions of T. Distinctive features. T is consonantal anterior coronal voiceless alveolar stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce T, the air passage is completely blocked by raising the soft palate and raising the tip of the tongue to touch the teeth ridge. When the tongue is removed from the teeth ridge, the air suddenly escapes from the mouth with an explosive sound. There is no vibration in the vocal cords. It is regularly aspirate before a strongly stressed vowel. Occurrences. T occurs initially, medially, and finally. Descriptions of D. Distinctive features. D is consonantal anterior coronal voice alveolar stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce D, it is articulate like T, except that the breath force is weaker and vocal cords vibrate. Occurrences. D occurs initially, medially, and finally. Velar plosive, k and g. The back of the tongue is pressed in the area of soft palate. The soft palate is raised and the breath is swept for a short time. The sounds cannot be prolonged. Descriptions of k. Distinctive features. K is consonantal, high, back, voiceless, velar, stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce the phoneme k, the air passage is completely blocked by raising the soft palate and raising the back of the tongue to touch the palate. When the tongue is lower from the soft palate, the air escapes through the mouth with an explosive sound. There is no vibration in the vocal cords. Descriptions of g. Distinctive features. G is consonantal, high, back, voice, velar, stop. Pronunciation. When we pronounce g, it is articulate like k, except that the breath force is weaker and the vocal cords vibrate. Occurrences. G occurs initially, medially, and finally. Nasal stop. It is produced with a lowered volume in the mouth, allowing the air to escape freely through the nose. There are three types of nasal. 1. Bilabial nasal, m. 2. Alveolar nasal, n. 3. Velar nasal, ng. Bilabial nasal, m. The mouth is blocked by closing the two lips. The soft palate is down, so the air escapes through the nose. Descriptions of m. Distinctive features. M is consonantal, nasal, anterior, voice, sonorant, bilabial. Pronunciation. When we pronounce m, the mouth passage is completely blocked by closing the lips. But the soft palate is lowered so that the air can pass through the nose. The tongue is held in a neutral position. The vocal cords vibrate. Occurrences. M occurs initially, medially, and finally. Alveolar nasal, n. It is produced by pressing the tongue tip against the alveolar ridge. The soft palate is down, so the air escapes through the nose. Descriptions of n. Distinctive features. N is consonantal, nasal, anterior, coronal, voice, sonorant, and alveolar. When we pronounce n, the mouth passage is completely blocked by raising the tip of the tongue to touch the teeth ridge. The soft palate is lowered, so that the air can pass through the nose. Nose, the vocal cords vibrate. Occurrences. N occurs initially, medially, and finally. Velar nasal, ng. The mouth is blocked by the back of the tongue and against the lowered soft palate, so the air escapes through the nose. Descriptions of ng. Distinctive features. Ng is consonantal, nasal, high, back, voice, sonorant, velar. Pronunciation. When we pronounce ng, the passage is completely blocked by raising the back of the tongue to touch the soft palate. The soft palate is lowered, so that the air can pass through the nose. There is vibration in the vocal cords. Occurrences. Medially and finally.